Hey guys, I'm George, I'm a cash game specialist, and today I'm going to talk about how you can add the fold big blind to seal stats to your HUD in Hold and Manager free, and use it to exploit opponents in-game, and make your pre-flop decisions easier. So to add them to our HUD, we're going to click on Tools, HUD Editor, and we're just going to navigate to the default HUD for this one. Click the add sign here, and statistics, and you'll find these stats under the VS Steal stats. So we click here, and we can see that we have the fold to button steal here, and the fold to small blind steal here. So we double click them both, and now they're in our HUD. So the fold to small blind steal tells us how often a player in the big blind will fold to a small blind open. The fold to button steal actually tells us how often a player in the big blind or the small blind will fold to a button open. And we want this to just be the big blind. So we're going to click here and edit this stat by going over to the right. And where it says position, instead of all positions, we want it to just be the big blind. So we click there, and then we click OK. So now these two stats are telling us how often a player folds the big blind to button or small blind steals. And this is really useful, because in-game it will very often fold around to us, and we need to make a decision about whether to try and steal the blinds or not. In this example, I have 5-4 off in the small blind, which is a very weak hand, and probably too weak to open against almost all players. However, we can see that I can look at the big blind and see that he's folding 61% of the time when the small blind opens. This is obviously way too high. He should be folding around 40% of the time. So even a hand as weak as 5-4 off can make money by opening against a player who's playing this nitty. This means that I can go ahead and open, and he folds, and I make $2 of a hand which would otherwise have been folding and just losing its small blind. We can also see how we can use the fold big blind to button steal stat with this hand. Again, it folds around to me, and I'm sat with King 5 off, which is far too weak really to open. However, I can look to the big blind and see that he's overfolding again. He's folding 75% of the time here. This means that even a hand as weak as King 5 off can become a profitable open. And again, I open and get 2 folds, as I anticipated. These two stats are so useful just because this situation is so common. It's going to happen a ton of the time that it's going to fold around to you in the big blind or the small blind, and you're going to have to decide whether to steal or not. Having these stats allows you to exploit opponents who aren't defending their blinds enough, and open with weaker hands that would normally just be folding and not making you any money.